Welcome to Fire Safety and Emergency Preparedness at VNA Senior Living Communities at 259 Lowell Street. The Executive Office of Elder Affairs requires all new employees at time of orientation to this training, and also one time a year after that. This is a mandatory requirement for your employment. Employees will also receive a hard copy of the Fire Safety and Emergency Preparedness for future reference. The general procedure for a fire alarm is the panel sends a signal to the fire department, and the front desk will relay what they read on the panel to the fire department as well.
In case of emergency, you first call 911, then you take the book, go to the fire panel, see where the emergency is, call over the walkie-talkies, all the RCAs and nurse to see where and how severe the emergency is.
This is our fire door. In the case of an alarm, what will happen is the door will break away from the magnet, close, and latch. And that creates a safe zone on this side of the door and on that side of the door. Meaning if there was a fire on this side of the door, that would be your safe zone. If there was a fire on that side of the door, this would be your safe zone. The building is rated for an hour and a half, meaning it would take a fire an hour and a half to go up a level or across a level. So this is our ANSL suppression system, these nozzles. It's measured by links behind the hood vents. When it reaches a certain temperature, what will happen is this will engage and spray a liquid or a foam fire retardant in this area. This is a manual switch for the ANSL system. If you notice that there is a fire and the system hasn't engaged, then you would pull this pin to engage the system. This is a typical carbon monoxide monitor. We have it throughout the building in each room, as well as in the kitchen. And there's one hardwired in the basement in the boiler room that sends a signal to the panel. Since they're wireless, they need to be monitored by staff and residents. 4 beeps means there's an alarm. 3 beeps means there's a malfunction in the system, and 1 beep means the battery is dead. Also, the carbon monoxide detector in the boiler room in our heating area is hardwired into the annunciator panel, which means if there is an alarm, it will come up on the board and they will know that there's an issue in the boiler room. This is a K-can fire extinguisher. It's specifically for grease fires, which would be located here in the kitchen. And it follows the same principle of pass. Pull the pin, aim the nozzle, squeeze the handle, and sweep at the base of the fire, or in the general direction of the fire. In the event of a power failure, the first thing to do is to call NSTAR and let them know that we're an elderly housing community and we request priority. Fortunately, we have the benefit of a generator that will run the kitchen area as well as common area lighting in the hallways. The generator also has its own annunciator panel, and it is serviced quarterly and as needed. The first thing to do is to call 911 and then second call NSTAR. In the event of a natural gas leak, NSTAR will come and isolate the problem and repair the problem. Also, if possible, vent the area in question, and second, evacuate the area of any residents or people that could be in harm's way. In the event of a carbon monoxide alarm, in each room has its own carbon monoxide detector. You will hear 4 beeps signifying that there is carbon monoxide present. The first thing to do is to vent if possible, and second, evacuate the area of any residents. So those are our heat and smoke detectors. They detect smoke first, and they'll send an alarm to the front panel. And then at 135 degrees, they'll detect heat, which will send the building into a general alarm. And then thirdly, at 155 degrees, they'll start dispensing water through the sprinkler system. So the system monitors the smoke and heat detectors pretty extensively. If there is ever an issue with one or one is faulty, it will send a signal to the panel to let it know that it needs to be fixed. The smoke and heat detectors are certified annually by fire equipment. They are also checked quarterly by fire equipment. Fire extinguishers are also monitored by fire equipment. They're certified annually and in-house once a month to make sure they haven't been tampered with and that they're still holding a charge. The sprinkler system is also certified by fire equipment annually, and they have tamper valves in case someone tries to shut off or close the water delivery system. This is a ABC fire extinguisher. It does grease fires, electrical fires, and wood fires. It is an all-around fire extinguisher. How to operate the fire extinguisher: you pull the pin or twist it, pull out the hose, aim it, squeeze the handle, and sweep at the base of the fire. What to do during a carbon monoxide leak. Carbon monoxide is an odorless, colorless, tasteless gas which over prolonged exposure can cause significant damage. The first thing to do is to call 911. The second thing to do is to investigate the source. Thirdly, vent if possible and evacuate residents in the vicinity. 911, upon their arrival, will take over the duties. Once in a while we'll have a boil water order, which means that water has to be boiled for 5 minutes at a rolling boil before it can be used in any application as far as ingesting goes. This includes the coffee makers not being able to work, no brushing your teeth, no ingesting of unboiled water. Okay. If there's no water in part of the building, what we will do is we will first call the GM, and second call maintenance, and third call the water department to see why, if there is a ruptured pipe or what is the case. If you feel someone is stuck in the elevator, this is called an entrapment. The first thing we do, if you're unsure if someone is there or not, you call 911 first, and second we call the elevator repair company, which for this building is Otis. During a fire event, if the door is shut and you're unsure, first thing to do is feel the door for heat. If there is no heat, second, open the door, make yourself as thin as possible, squeeze through the door, and shut the door behind you. We have a state-of-the-art emergency system at our facility. With all the certifications, annual inspections, and preparations that we have, there should not be a major event. But we need to treat every event with a sense of urgency and report to do our duties. It's everyone's responsibility to do their part during an emergency. Report with a sense of urgency and with a willingness to do your part to make sure everyone is safe and accounted for. This is for the safety of our residents and for each other. If you have any questions at all, you can ask myself at any point to explain things in depth, more detailed, however you need be, to understand completely what to do during a fire event and how to approach each individual emergency event that could potentially happen at our facility. Thank you.